how we draft GI product specifications. I believe that some of you have drafted GI specifications before, so you've got experience about it. So we would like to refine the quality of the future specification we might conduct later. Okay. This PowerPoint is quite heavy. Maybe this is the heaviest part of the sessions in these 2 weeks. So we will going through the general points of drafting GI specifications, various forms, main elements of GI, the name of GI, type or classification, how to draft the quality, how to draft the characters of the GI product, how to draft the reputation of the GI, and how also to draft the geographical environment of a GI, including natural and or human factors, and how to draft the history and tradition is correlated to the has a correlation with GI, how to draft the GI map and how to express it, and how to draft the production process, and how to draft the controlling mechanism system, and how to draw a GI label. So we've got 14 topics, and I will try to make it fast, okay? Now, I've got the tips, okay? The tips about about drafting GI product specification. Firstly, the document should be sufficient in itself. So without too many references, too many annexes or bibliography. Of course, if we take the data from, for example, from books or from research, we have to mention it, but don't make it like dissertations, so master or undergraduate thesis. No, it is a document of GI specification, so it should be sufficient in itself without too many references. The document should be precise and concrete. Use a plain denotative and technical language as opposed to ornamental and exaggerate and artistic languages. Okay. Avoid subjective or fake superlatives such as wonderful, excellent, without measures. Okay, so make it precise, compact. Avoid exaggerate terms such as the best, the most preferable, the most sought after. You know, you can use these terms if you would like to sell the products, but not in drafting a GI product specification, okay? So those are wonderful terms. I love them too, but use them not in drafting a product specifications, but when you trade the products to invite the consumers, to enchant the consumers, not in drafting the GI specification, okay? And provide descriptions with scientific data. This makes sometimes drafting GI product specification quite expensive, but we can manage, okay? Okay, so we've got various forms of GI specification. In Indonesia, it used to be a book of requirements, and it can be more than 100 or 200 pages even, because it's very long. So we make it concise, and we call it a book or a description document. Some of other countries here use the document of GI specification. So we've got many terms, but it's not very distinctive. The elements are the same. So it can be in the form of book of requirements, which are very thick, or book of specifications, quite thick as well. Document description document is theoretically thinner. GI technical specification is very technical. It's very technical. The language is very technical. It's very concise but technical. maybe only thoroughly comprehended by the experts, but we need it. A single document of GI specification. This is used in European Union now, and documents of GI specifications or documents of requirements for GI registration. Some of our members use documents of requirements for GI registration. So many documents to fulfill the requirements of GI registrations. Not single document, but many documents. With those various type of GI specifications, we've got 5 main elements. Firstly, identity. Identity, it can be an identity of the GI itself, the name of the GI, and the GI logo. It also can be a type of GI products. It can also be the identity of the holders, the CMO, the CMO of GI, or the producer associations. And it can also be the identity of the country of origin. Okay. Secondly, the territory, not the country of origin's territory, no, but the special map. I like to use the term GI map because this is different with geographical map or administrative map of municipalities or regions. No, it's different. This is GI map. GI map means map that depicts the geographical area where the GI product is produced. Okay. Thirdly, reputation, quality, and characteristic. Reputation, quality, and or characteristic should be caused by GI, geographical environment. And the link. Even though we know that this requirement is not in TRIPS versions, but Lisbon's version, but in best practice, we have to establish the link because it should always be a causal link between the GI product with its geographical environment. Without that, what's the reason of protecting GI? There is no reason. So link is the reason why the GI is worth to be protected. So we have to establish the link, the causal link between the GI product with its geographical environment, but we can't make the natural and human factors as accumulative factors or optional factors. Okay. And fifthly, of course, the control of compliance for the on the specification in the GI specification or GI spec. Because as I said before, the GI product specification is a binding contract for the members of the GI association. Now, let's elaborate how to decide the name of a GI. Okay. The name of a GI should depict an indication or a name that directly indicates the link between the product and its geographical origin. It should be directly indicates the link. Theoretically, we know that there are direct GI and indirect GI, but it's different. Indirect GI is GI using the traditional name or traditional language from the originated area. So we call it indirect because the language will lead the mind of the consumer to the area, not the name of area itself. That's the meaning of indirect GI. But it can be protected. Like basmati rice is indirect GI because basmati is not the name of the place. Instead, it is the name of the slender aromatic rice from Haryana, the territory of Haryana. But basmati is a traditional name. So it is indirect GI. But this is not the case of that. Designating the name of GI should depict that indication has a directly indicates the link. Okay. Even though it takes form as an indirect GI, the link should be direct. So direct indication to a geographical origin can consist of a name of a territory, region, or locality of a country. Can also be smaller, consist of a village or regency, municipality or province, or can also consist of one name uniting several villages or localities in a regency. It depends on where the producers live and where the products are produced. Now, what is indirect indication? Okay, indirect indication to a geography can consist of traditional or indigenous name of a product. Now, in designing the name of a GI, the name must be used to designate the specific product. The name should not be in a form of a creative name. Even though it's fun and trendy, it cannot be a creative name that can obscure the nature of the product. The name should also not only consist of the general type of the product or a generic name. Generic name cannot be used as a GI name. Okay. Instead, it should also refer directly to the specificity of the product. The name should have been used in commerce before the registration is sought. So this is the main one of the main differences between GI and trademark system, because trademark can be protected even though it hasn't been used. Okay, but GI, the name of the GI should have been used in commerce before the registration. We should avoid descriptive additional words such as original, premium, traditional. That's like exaggerate and beautiful terms that obscure the nature. Okay, avoid descriptive additional words. The name should consist of common language designating that the specific product has strong linkage with its geographical origin. This is the example. Now, champagne or champagne. Champagne actually is a sparkling wine produced from Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Meunier grapes, cultivated within the Champagne area in the northeast of France. So this is actually the name of the area. But most of them, including me, knew champagne at first as a bottle of white sparkling wine, not an area. Okay. Kampot pepper. Kampot pepper is produced in South Cambodia in the district of Kampong Trak, Dang Tong, I'm sorry if I misspell it, Tok Show, Sok, and Kampot City in Kampot Province, Kap City, and Dan Max Chang Er district in Kap Province, Cambodia. So Kampot is actually designates directly with the area, especially Kampot City. Tunun ikat sika, tunun is the Indonesian language, or sika ikat woven fabric. Tunun ikat sika is produced in Sika Regency, including its capital Regency Maumere, in Flores Island, East Nusa Tenggara subarchipelagic province of Indonesia. So these are the examples of the name of GI. They are actually the names of a locality or the city or the regions, and they become the name of GI. Can they be? Yes, it can. Actually, this is a good name for GI, not for trademark. Okay, no distinctiveness. Okay, but this is very good name for GI. These are very good names of GI. Now, after designing the name of GI, how to design the type of GI product. We haven't got any unified classifications of types of GI products like niche agreement for trademarks or classifications for patents or industrial designs, but we can modify or learn from different classifications conducted or defined by many countries. So the type of GI product can be derived from the category or classification applicable in the national level of each country of origin. So it's not, we haven't got any unified classification system in GI, okay? Such as agricultural products consist of food products. Now, agricultural products is the classification in European Union actually. But herbal products is the classification from Indonesia, sorry. And non-eatable agricultural products can consist of them. Non-agricultural products, many non-agricultural products are originated from ASEAN member countries, especially clothes products or handicrafts. Industrial products could be. Wild products. This is a new classification discussed in the international in the multilateral levels and seminars and international conference about whether wild product can be protected under GI. Actually, some of the products from Europe, I think, or other part of Asia and Latin America consist of wild products. And organic products. I think European countries love organic products. And mountain products. Aquatic products. It could be. Okay, aquatic products are products from fish, for example, fish from the sea or from the pond, okay, or from plants in the sea plants. Okay, so this is the type of products example from our one of our members in ASEAN countries in Singapore. As I said, Singapore has a special regulation. I think implementing regulations substantiating the categories of GI. So in Singapore, the types of the product. GI product is wine, spirits, beers. 3 of them in trademark. Actually, the under one classifications in trademark, but in GI, it they are grouped differently. Wine, spirits, and beers, cheese, meat and meat products, seafoods, aquatic product. I mean. Edible oils, fruits, vegetables, spices and condiments, confectionery and baked goods, baked goods, flowers and parts of flowers and natural gum. So in European Union, the category, the GI category of products is wider. Okay, it's very rich, varied. So the GI product can be wines, aromatized wines, agricultural products and foodstuffs, spirits, fresh meat, meat products. Difference between fresh meat and meat products. This is a processed products, meat products. Cheeses, other products of animal origins like eggs, honey, various dairy products except butter, etc. Oils and fats, fruits, vegetables and cereals, fresh or processed, fresh fish, aquatic, mollusks, and crustaceans and products derived from their form. Beer, chocolate, bread, pastry, cakes, confectionery, biscuits, and other baker's wares, beverages made from plant extracts, pasta, salt, natural gums and resins, mustard paste, hay, essential oils, pork, cochineal, flowers and ornamental plants, cotton, wool, wicker, scotched flax, leather, fur, and feather. Maybe you can ask from some of the participants are from from the IP office of the member countries of ASEAN, right? So maybe we can create the categories, national categories based on national policies. A GI product should have a high or premium quality for sure. Okay, but beside that, it can also be complied with the international and national quality standards. For example, the standards on the substance of the products, the standards of hygiene, safety, and health, maybe free from COVID-19 viruses. They call the standards of packaging and labeling. Actually, it would be better if we have a special rule on labeling system of GI. And supporting, for example, the quality standards on environmental friendly or supporting environment sustainability, okay? Like the standards of organic products, environmental friendly products, products which against animal cruelty. Okay, most of the issues we can include them in our specification. You decide. Now, how to draft the quality of the GI products? Firstly, begin the drafting with the intention to answer the question about what or which are the components to make the product having special quality. Begin the description of the quality with the detailed type of the product. Okay, do not translate the original name of the product. As I mentioned, that the traditional name can be used as the name of the product as well, and then it can make the quality of the product stronger. Okay, so do not translate the original name of the product. Argue the quality of the product with technical and scientific data obtained from research, such as the data about specific physical and chemical ingredients in the product. So we need data, scientific data about the quality of the product. It's not enough to draft that this coffee is premium, it's very delicious, it's very creamy. We have to support that with data. Use the scientific language related to the product, such as the language used by agronomic scientists, food technologists, aquatic products scientists or specialists, expert of design products, or even anthropologists. If the product is like handicraft, special handicrafts originated from a certain indigenous people, for example, we need the anthropologist data to establish the cultural link, the human factor, linkage. Okay, and use common definitions and standards of quality to measure the quality of the product. This is the example now. It's from Indonesia. How to draft the quality of the product. In the book of specification, the vanilla alor, it is substantiated that vanilla alor have 5 standardized qualities of a vine vanilla from Alor archipelagic region of Indonesia. So the specification said it is a vine vanilla, but it requires 5 qualities. Firstly, the color shall be shiny black, like this. Okay, the picture. The green one is the plants from the tree, and then this is the picked one, the young one. The color shall be shiny black. This is black. The form shall be smooth. Look at it. Very smooth, without any wrinkle. The body shall be flexible, so it can be rolled up around the finger and come back to in its original shape without being broken. We can roll them up in our finger, and it will come back to the original form. The scent shall have a strong vanilla fragrance, and the density shall be solid. Failing to meet the standards means unable to exercise the right to use the GI logo of the vanilla allure alongside with all aspects of the right thereof. The draft of characters should be distinctive. So not the sign that should be distinctive, unlike trademark, okay? Not the sign that should be distinctive or the label that should be distinctive, but the character, okay? The character of a GI product should be distinctive, which can differentiate the product from other products in the same category or classification of GI. The character should also be inherent and stable. It should also caused by or mainly influenced by the geographical origins, environmental factors of the products. It should also, the character should also provide the product with unique characters such as unique taste or unique appearance, and make the product special as opposed to ordinary products. On the eyes and impressions of the consumer. So how to test that this is special? We can compare the GI specialty with the ordinary products in the same classifications on the eye of the consumers, not the eye of the producers. Of course, all producers of GI will say that my products are special, but how the consumers view them. Okay. And the character should also be used to shape the niche market. The niche market is a special market who consist of the devoted consumers and with a deep pocket. Okay. And how to draft the characters of the product. The tips are: do not translate the original name of the products. Begin the drafting with the intention to answer the questions of what or which the factors that make the products having special characters. Explain the raw materials, properties, or fits which provide the product with specific characters. Argue the specificity of the characters of the product with data from research. It would be better if the scientific data on how the special characters of the products is recognizable by consumers and influential in the existing market is also provided. So it would be better if we can also provide this specification with the data from market polling, for example, okay, or consumer surveys on consumers. Do not include features of the product which have no direct relations with the characters. Now, this is an example of drafting the characters of GI products. Parmigiano Reggiano is a hard cheese. I underlined the characters. Hard cheese made from unpasteurized cow's milk, partially skimmed by natural surface skimming. It must be matured for at least 12 months. It can be sold as a whole, like this, a whole wheel of cheese, in portions or gratted. It is cylindrical in shape and has a diameter of 35 till 45 centimeters, height of 20 or 26 centimeters, and minimum weight of 30 kilograms. The color of the body of the cheese is between light straw colored and straw colored. The taste is fragrant, delicate, flavorsome, but not pungent. Characters. We can use the terms like fragrant, delicate, not pungent, but please do not exaggerate them. Okay, very delicious. Just say delicate, fragrance. Have a beautiful smell. Just the taste is fragrant. Okay, make it concise. Okay, now we move on to draft to discuss about drafting the reputation. There are several reputation can be mentioned here. Firstly, trademark system has a special degree of reputations. Well-known marks, known marks, well-known marks, and famous marks. But the reputation in GI is different. Okay. Yes, it is true that one of the case in history, in European history, of passing off on a well-known sign is actually a case on Ricofort. So it is a case of GI actually, but the reputation in GI should not only consist of well-known reputation. Okay. It can also be a local reputation or national reputation or, of course, international reputation. So it can only be a national reputation or local reputation as long as it has a special reputation. Okay, it shouldn't be well known because if it should be well known, many requirements have to be obtained. Like it, okay? So that's the reputation GI difference with trademark. Now, this is the example of drafting reputation of GI products. National regional reputation of Chilembu sweet potatoes and Pekalongan batik in Indonesia prior to the GI registrations were conducted by research using the following methods. So prior the registrations of Chilembu sweet potatoes, Chilembu sweet potato has been registered as GI, but Pekalongan batik is still in process. But prior the registrations process, the research have been conducted. Okay, so this is the mode. This is how we draft the research. The research can be conducted by obtaining institutional data from the institutions, both qualitative or quantitative data. Can also be conducted by interviews, market polling, consumers research, research on consumers, and can also be conducted by focus group discussions or rapid rural appraisal. So we also have to define the criteria of participants. Okay, so to make it justifiable. So this is the way to prove that the GI has a special reputation. We have to make a survey actually for it. Now, how to draft the geographical environment of the GI product? The main purpose of drafting the GI environment of a GI product is to establish the causal link. We've been discussed this several times between the product and its geographical origin. This is maybe the substance of the GI specification. Okay, this link, causal link. The causal link can be established by the description of natural factor, soil, ground level, water, acidity of the soil, minerals, humidity, endemic plants, animal, etc. and or human factor, local culture, local history, traditional processing technique, local wisdom, etc. Let's take an example from Kintamani Bali Coffee. The drafted natural factors in the Kintamani Bali Coffee specification is as follows. This is the area, this is the coffee, and this is the fruits of the coffee. The Kintamani area is located in the northeast of the province of Bali, which is tropical, with a latitude between 115 A and 115.30 A, arc line 810S, 820S. This area has a cool mountainous nature, which includes slopes and bumpy plains. The vegetation includes forest plants, horticulture, food crops, and Arabica coffee, of course. The height of 900 until 1,550 meters slope. Rainfall is 2.990 millimeter per year for 139 days. Type of rainfall, CD or dry. Distribution of rainfall, 4 till 5 dry months per year. In dry period, June till September. 1 month moist per year. 6-7 months of rain per year. Temperature of 15 degrees Celsius at night and 22 until 26 degrees Celsius in afternoon. Relative humidity is 80 till 99%. Soil, QBB geological formation, tufa material and deposits of Buyan, Bratan, and Mount Batur lava quarter. Antisol and inceptor regusol soil types, high physical and chemical fertility levels with sand texture struggling, sandy cloud, Salem 50 till 120 centimeter, moderate acidity. Rainfall data and soil test results are attached. Just compare the description. This description is really technical, used technical language. It should be like this. So the experts on this field can exactly understand the natural factors of the Kintamani Bali coffee. This description is to describe this. In our eyes, it's very beautiful, but it's very technical. So don't describe the natural factors like it's very mountainous, cold, and beautiful. But we have to use the technical language with the depictions of technical data. Okay. Human factors. Still Kintamani Bali coffee. For centuries, farmers in Bali Island, Indonesia, have organized themselves in traditional institutions called Subak Abyan. Subak Abyan is a traditional socio-religious institutions of Balinese traditional farmers. In carrying out their functions and duties, members of Subak Abyan in Bali, including in Kintamani, are guided by the principle of Trihita Karana. Trihita Karana means that there are 3 causes to achieve happiness. Those are the harmony relations with God, the harmony relations with other human beings, and the harmony relations with environment. 3 Hita Karana principles are manifested by Kintamani Bali farmers in producing, processing, and marketing the Arabica coffee in Kintamani. This is the offering. Balinese people use many types of flowers as offering to gods, and this is the coffee. So this is how we have to draft the human factors. Okay, this is natural factors, very technical, and this is technical too, because this is the results of the anthropology research about Trihita Karana. Okay. So we use the language from the anthropologists to explain the human factors of Kintamani Bali coffee. Let's move on to the way to draft history and tradition of GI product. Drafting history and tradition of GI product can take forms of natural history, like history of a site, natural structures, or natural ecosystems, the history of it. Can also be consist of cultural history, traditional context, traditional usage of the products, or even legend. We can add the description with legend, but please don't only use legend. So it can it's worth it as an additional data to support that the product has a deep historical cultural roots in that locality and in the tradition of the local people there. Okay, so the legend can be used as an additional description. The legend of the product, especially non-agricultural product, as a proof of the cultural depth of the product. This is the example. From Indonesia, we've got the Garam Amet Bali, the cultural history of Amet salt. Archaeological data about Amet local history is found on lontar leaves named Lontar Pamuder. Lontar Pamuder substantiated that Amet salt had been widely produced before 1500 Saka year of Balinese calendar, or 1578 AD. In that year, the king of Karangasem local kingdom in Bali, whose territorial authority also covered Amet area, asked the community of Amet to submit Amet salt as a tribute to the king instead of staple foods. In that time, the value of Amet salt in barter, they haven't used any coins, but bartering the products, was as high as Balinese staple foods, notably rice, potatoes, and corns. Okay, so this is archaeological data. Not the wishful thinking story, but archaeological data. Now, this is the example of legend. Legend of Chilambo sweet potatoes, protected GI in West Java, Indonesia. Anthropological data depicts that there is a legend in Chilambo village about the distinctive flavor of Chilambo sweet potatoes. Traditional farmers in Chilambo village believe that the distinctive character of the potatoes that producing caramels after baking was because long time ago, the king of Sunda and Galuh local kingdoms in West Java province called Prabu Siliwangi visited Chilambo village, was impressed by the sweetness of the potatoes and blessed the potatoes to remain sweet. It's very, it's like, yeah, there's a legend. We don't know whether it's true or not. It's half true and half not, but that's a legend. And for sure, the products surrounded by legend has a deep root, the cultural roots, okay, has a deep cultural roots in that area. Okay, let's move on drafting a GI map. The map of a GI should not be an administrative map. I know many GI still started with administrative map, but it shouldn't be an administrative map. The map of GI, instead of being an administrative map, should be a spatial map of geographical origin, depicting the borderline where the predominant source of the product is originated. It could consist of one or several administrative villages, but the borderline of the villages themselves cannot be used to draw the map without enough data about the actual source of the product. Okay. Now, agriculture product. For agriculture product, environmental maps must show the precise natural borderline from which the predominant natural factor or the environmental ecosystem exists. For non-agricultural products, cultural map, it should consist of where the producers of the product reside, conduct the production process, and or make the tradition of the production a living culture. Okay, so that's the difference. In agricultural products, it should be a borderline of where the source of products are planted, okay, or originated. But for non-agricultural product, it's actually should consist of the cultural map. It's a map of the culture which has, of course, the connection with the product. Now, this is the example of Coonawarra wine of Australia. This is the map. The original map used to be like this. It consisted of what we call it terra rossa soil, the red soil, formed like a cigar from north to south in Victoria, and this all produced the premium quality of grapes, which becomes the well-known Coonawarra wines. Red wines, especially Coonawarra's specialty is red wines. They produce also white wines, but the most well-known wines from Coonawarra is red wines. Look at the landscapes, beautiful, right? But let me share about how they draw a map now, okay? Because it used to be the original map, the cigar one. But because of the demands of the consumers, international consumers too, they had to make the products in a higher amount, and then they have to widen the territory. It was a huge conflict, actually. I visited this when I did my research for my PhD in 2005. And they had already decided that the map should be widened. It used to be like this, but the products cannot fulfill the demands of the consumer, so they widen them. But how about Terra Rossa soil? The Terra Rossa soil is only here. So the producers of Coonawarra decided that, okay, we can also include other soil, terzina soils, the blacker one, the blacker soil outside the Terra Rossa soil, as long as the grapes produced there are quite similar with the quality of the grapes produced in Terra Rossa soil. So let me show the map, actual map now. Look, let's have a look at how they explain the map. Okay, this is Terra Rossa soil is here, and this is Terzina soil. Okay, look. GI textual description. The geographical indication Coonawarra is located within the zone Lime Coast within the state of South Australia, Australia. The starting point of the boundary is located on map Struan at grid reference, being the northwestern corner of section. Look at this. Because the history was because it was a conflict between the producers regarding how to draw the map. So they ended up with this map, the wider map, with these details about the map. This is the examples of how we have to decide the borderlines of the map. It is not an administrative map, okay? It's not a geological map, but it is the map of the products. Look. I don't want to read all of them for you, but I just want to give you an impression about how we have to be carefully drafting the map of the GI. How to draft the production process. The production process should be backed up by a strong product-specific justification. The production process should consist of the method, step by step, and or rules about, for example, in agricultural product, cultivating, planting, or processing the product from the beginning to the end. Okay? The production process should be drafted in detail. For example, by including the method of plowing the land, planting the seeds, and harvesting the plants, or in the processed products, the method of slicing, brewing, cooking, and preparing the food. It should be very detailed. The drafting of production process may include the rules of packaging as well. If there is a prohibition of repackaging or repacking, it should be clearly stated in the specification. Okay? It should be clearly stated. Now, this is the example. Planting of Kintamani Valley coffee. The example of drafting production process. The type of coffee is Arabica with varieties of Copior S1795 and USDA 762. Spacing of 2.5 meter or 1,600 trees per hectare. The shade is planted between the coffee trees. Fertilizing 1 year 2 times using manure. Also can with vegetable compost, and absolutely not allowed with chemical fertilizer. Coffee pruning is done through single stem shaped pruning with a height of about 160 centimeters. In addition to the initial trimming, pruning is also regularly held of harvest, rough weevil, and fine weevil. Pest or disease control is carried out through the IPM system by utilizing natural enemies and biological agents. Use of pesticides is prohibited. So it is natural, very natural, organic. Bali Kintamani geographical indication coffee is planted under the shade tree. Among the coffee plants, weeds must be cleaned. It's very technical. Maybe all farmers who are member of the CMOGI have already known them. So just collect them and draft together like this. Make it concise. This is the example of drafting the production process. Processing method. During the harvest period, selective hand picking must be produced at least 95% red spindles and as large as yellow spindles, but completely without green or black spindles. Picked results must be submitted to the processing unit on the same day and immediately processed. Red spindles are sorted manually by mining. Floating sponges are not processed. Exfoliation is done by machine or manually using clean water after peeling the coffee beans. After peeling, the coffee beans remain in the floating float will be separated. The fermentation process is carried out for 12 to 36 hours. The end of the washing is sun drying on the para-para. Para-para is traditional, tool to drying something. Drying is done until the water content reaches 12%, which usually lasts up to approximately 14 days. processing units, machinery, tanks for fermentation, canals, and soil must be cleaned every day right after the processing. The dried HS coffee produced must be stored in a new sack for at least 2 months. At the management site, storage must be carried out in a dry and clean room. Yeah, I hope that this example can make you can give you any idea about a concrete idea about how to draft the processing method. It's not difficult actually if the drafter or the source person of the drafting process are the producers themselves, because they know exactly how to produce and process the products. Another example, roasting method. The general recommendation for Kintamani Bali coffee is recommended for roasting with medium maturity, medium roast. Packing. For packaging, Kintamani Bali coffee, IG, must use airtight packaging with 3 layers of protection. It is recommended to use a one-way valve. Okay? Okay. Let's move on this short version, because in the case of Kintamani, the production process is drafted in a very long version. So this is the short version of production process drafting. It is about the delicious cow homali tungkula ronghai rice. Sorry about misspelling, Miss Yung. Okay, the rice seeds used to produce cow homali tungkula ronghai must be ground in tungkula ronghai. The whole of the production cycle must take place in the defined geographical area to ensure that it is conducted entirely under the geomorphological conditions specific to this area. Harvesting is governed by specific rules that cover the dates from October to December. Phenological stages and grain muster to guarantee the hygiene and safety of the product and completely traceability of the rice in the region of origin, and even in many cases to the original farmers. Cow homali tungkula ronghai must be packaged within the area in which it is produced. So it's very tight, the rules, because it has been, it should be packaged, it should be processed from the beginning till the end, till the packaging in the geographical area. The packaging is not allowed. So this is very good example of expressing that it is not allowed. The packaging is not allowed in order to prevent any possible contamination or alteration of the product. Packages must be labeled with the weight, date, and packaging, and name of the mill or cooperative. Another example of short fashion production process drafting. Lampun brocaded thigh silk. The production is complex but always follow ancient methods. It has a strong cultural link or a human factor. After having used the mulberry leaves to feed their silkworms, practitioners of sericulture or silk making or cocoon producers process the silk filaments from the golden yellow cocoons to get the long, soft, and lustrous thread that boasts high tensile strength and elasticity. These threads are then dyed before being woven. A timber is used for the weaving loom structure on which the shuttle is inserted manually. The silk thread is wound around a bobbin. The process begins by winding the wire in coils. The silk pieces are prepared according to the width and length required. The number of threads is used to calculate how much wire is needed.